Hey everybody, it's Scomlet and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I'll be playing another quick draft of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Brothers War is the new hotness right now, but I've done like 10 Brothers War events recently, and you all know I love to add some variety in there. So I wanted to hop into a Kamigawa Neon Dynasty quick draft before they head out in a few days here. So without further ado, let's just get into the pack. Pretty easy pack one, pick one. Junji the Midnight Sky is a bomb mythic rare dragon, flying menace, making it almost impossible to block, and even if your opponent kills it, you get to get some value by forcing them to discard cards or returning a card from your grave to the battlefield. So a really resilient bomb mythic, pretty easily to pick here. If it weren't here, we've got a couple great removal spells, Assassin's Ink, Fall of Lord Konda. We've got a Moon Snare Specialist for the Ninjutsu deck, which is one of my personal favorites. And that's about it. Some other decent stuff here, but these would be in contention if there weren't a great mythic rare. So let's just scoop up Junji the Midnight Sky and get into this draft. Alright, pack one, pick two, here we go. What do we got now? We've got a Circuit Mender, which I'm a pretty big fan of because it can fit into a lot of different archetypes in this format, and it's completely colorless, so obviously it can fit into any deck decently. It's at its best in Ninjutsu or Sacrifice, both of which are black archetypes in the format, blue-black or black-red, so I think this is a pretty solid place to go after taking a black mythic rare. We are already going to be pretty tied to that color, so Circuit Mender fits really well into most any black decks. Other than that, in this pack, if this weren't here, honestly, not a lot. I'm not a huge fan of any of these commons or uncommons, really. I guess it'd be like maybe Clawing Torment just to stick to black here because Junji is so strong and none of these other cards are really that strong to push me into another color. Not a super great pack outside of Circuit Mender. Ooh, pack one, pick three. We've got a pretty clear kind of build around for a direction to go here. We've got a silver for Master that I'll probably roll with. This is a blue and a black for a Rat Ninja that gives all of your ninjas and rogues +1/+1 and makes all of your ninjutsu abilities cost 1 less to activate. This is the build around Signpost uncommon for the blue-black ninjutsu archetype, and it's an archetype I enjoy a lot. It's an archetype that works really well with the Circuit Mender we just picked up. Pretty happy to take silver for Master. If that weren't in the pack, this pack's actually pretty sweet. We've got Imperial Oath in white, huge late game power and toughness for 6 mana. You also scry 3, which is huge at that point because any additional lands after your 6th are really useless. So this ends up kind of feeling like drawing extra cards for every land you put on the bottom of your deck. Modern Age is a really good saga. You get to draw a card, discard a card, draw a card, discard a card, then get a 2/3 flyer, which is sick. Just incredibly good deal for that mana cost. Kami's Flare is Red's best little cheap removal spell. Season of Renewal is a great value play in green decks in the format. They tend to have a lot of enchantments. Really good pack here. A lot of notable cards, but we're going to go with silver for Master. Pack one, pick four. No great follow-ups to a blue-black ninjutsu deck, unfortunately. You know, big vehicles, random little 2-drops. Not exactly where it's at. And Goshintai of Lost Wisdom is not really going to mill anybody out fast enough. Especially because our deck is going to be really good at just defeating opponents based on combat damage, so we're not trying to grind out a long game with a mill plan. I'll probably just roll with Armguard Familiar anyway, but we could take Uncharted Haven here. It's basically a Terramorphic Expanse or an Evolving Wilds. Just comes into play tapped as the color that we need. I think I'll go Uncharted Haven here. Armguard Familiar is a super fine, just serviceable 2-drop to put into any deck. And you do need a good quantity of those in ninjutsu decks because you need to be able to attack in on turn 2 to ninjutsu something out on turn 3. But Armguard Familiar is definitely not like the most exciting one ever. It doesn't synergize in any particular way with the ninja deck, so I'll just go Uncharted Haven here. But I wouldn't put it past you to just take the Familiar. That's also fine. Alright, pick 5. We've got another one of those Circuit Menders that work really nice in our archetype. So I will scoop that up. The other thing that's really nice about this card is that it does give us a backup plan if we're cut off of blue-black ninjas, because we haven't seen any blue-black ninjas cards in the last 2 packs. We could cut 1 silver for Master and become a red-black sacrifice deck instead. That being said, haven't seen any really good red stuff in a couple picks either, and it looks like the best stuff showing up is in like green-white mainly. You know, like a Repel the Vile is a nice flexible removal spell. Fang of Shigeki, Tails Master Sishiro are some of the better cards in the pack. So Obviously, if the only colors that are open are green and white, that'll be a bit awkward. We don't really have a good backup plan there, but for now, take the Circuit Mender, crossing our fingers, hoping we can hold on to it for dear life. Definitely looks like blue is just gone here. We could start taking some aggressive red cards for the Rakdos Sacrifice archetype. This is a pretty weak pack in general. This is a pack where I don't actually feel that bad for not being in green or white, because none of these green or white cards are that explosive. There are some good filler cards for sure, like Befriending the Moths, Merge Keeper, Born to Drive even in certain decks, but definitely nothing that's like a high pick. Probably just go for Unstoppable Ogre. This is a solid card for a red-black aggro deck that is an archetype that cares about a lot of artifact creatures, a lot of just artifacts in general. So the Ogre fits pretty well into the archetype. The one thing that's awkward about it is that our curve's really whack right now, but you don't really need to worry too much about your mana curve until you start getting into like pack 2 and onward. And there's nothing we can take to make our curve better. Aki Ronin is just not very spicy for the red-black deck, and Crackling Emergence is basically a 3-mana creature as well, because you enchant a land, so you need the land that you enchant with this to be untapped if you want to attack and block with it the turn you play it. Alright, we got a pick 7 Kami's Flare, so red-black looks like a pretty solid place to be, and when you look at the blue cards in this package, it's just a pretty mediocre counterspell. So blue-black ninjas, sorry Silver Fur Master, might not work out. Maybe we're trying to head into the black-red direction. Decent green and white cards again, Jukai Trainee, Fang of Shigeki, solid green filler, Sunblade Samurai, solid white filler, but Kami's Flare is the best card in the pack. And it's in a color we're actually trying to head towards right now. Ooh, this is awkward. Moderately tempted towards speculating on white now, because we see a Spirited Companion and an Era of Enlightenment. These are both very good value plays. A 2-drop that draws you a card when it enters the battlefield, and a 2-drop that scries 2, gains 2 over a couple turns. Both are really, really nice. Experimental Synthesizer is a pretty good card for the red-black artifacts deck, but again, pretty early in the draft, we're not married to the archetype. The best thing we have for it is Kami's Flare. Unstoppable Ogre is pretty filler for that archetype, so when you look at it this way, we're 1 card deep into blue, 1 card deep into red, when you're only looking at the great cards here. So maybe head 1 card deep into white, pick up a Spirited Companion. Gonna take it over the Era of Enlightenment just because it's a cute dog. Can't pass the doggo. Alright, pick 9 now. Nothing in white, nothing for blue-black ninjas, nothing for red-black sack. Technically, Papercraft Decoy is similar to Circuit Mender, where it fits into ninjas or sacrifice, because when it leaves the battlefield for any reason, spend a couple mana, draw a card. But having to spend a couple extra mana to do that is actually quite the hefty cost there. So Circuit Mender is just far superior, and we already have 2 of those, so I'm not that high on that. We can take a Ninja's Kunai here. It's an okay removal spell that we can put into any deck no matter what direction we go. And Heiko Yamazaki is just okay. Every time a Samurai Warrior attacks alone, you can cast an artifact from your graveyard this turn. Kind of hard to get multiple attacks out of Heiko because Heiko is only a 3/3 trample. So often Heiko might get 1 thing back from the grave, which is a good deal. That makes Heiko equivalent to like a Gravedigger. But never really pops off. So yeah, Heiko or Ninja's Kunai. Ninja's Kunai is the safer pick because whatever colors we end up being, we could play Ninja's Kunai. Heiko is going to be stronger though for black-red specifically, most likely. But not by like a massive amount. I'll take the Ninja's Kunai. Alright, a Gonjo Exemplar is a pretty solid little enchantment creature in white, and I'm not a very big fan of the Shattered States there. It just feels very slow. The kind of card you want in a very aggressive strategy, but I don't know, it just feels like a little weak for the cost. Never been overly impressed by it. Papercraft Decoy, as I said before, incredibly filler. I'm just going to take the Agonjo Exemplar. Alright, no black or white here. Best card in the pack is Season of Renewal, but the second best is Experimental Synthesizer. Really nice card draw for the red-black archetype. Reinforced Ronin is okay as well. There are some synergies in the set that are really fun with it, like the Dragon Ball that gets an extra counter every time you play an artifact. So the fact that you get to play this every single turn is really nice with that, but I think I'd rather just take the Synthesizer. It's better in a wider majority of of circumstances. Ember Keeper doesn't really do anything. Kind of difficult to actually modify that thing. I guess Ninja's Kunai is one way to do so. It's that, or it's a filler white card or a filler red card. I'll just take the filler red card, I guess. We're not going to cast either of these. I'll just throw one in the sideboard. Throw another in the sideboard. And another in the sideboard. What have we opened up in pack 2? Alright, well, pack 2, pick one. Best card in the pack for something that we're working with is Kumano Faces Kakazan. We can start... Oh, well, we could just get another very aggressive red card into the strategy, which will be really nice. 1 mana for 1 damage to each opponent, then the next creature you play comes with a counter, and then you get a 2/2 haste. Just a whole lot of stats for only 1 mana. Sees a lot of play in aggressive red decks in Standard right now, it's that good. The best card in the pack, period, is Kappa Tech Wrecker, but we don't really have a single green card right now. But this is really nice in the format. As you can see, there's tons of artifacts and enchantments in the set. So this, being able to ninjutsu out and then just exile almost anything you want off of your opponent's board is really, really good. But we'd have to drop all this stuff. Maybe I have to push in a green-white here. We really haven't seen any black to go with Junji. We've taken 1 black card outside of the Midnight Sky, and that's Silver for Master. All the rest of the black dried up. So if I go strictly by reading the draft pod, I just move onto green-white now with Kappa Tech Wrecker. And that would be good with a Spirited Companion. Red has been decently open as well, though. It's just that red's not a particularly powerful color in this format, but it's definitely open. Late Kami's Flare, late Synthesizer. It's kind of a difficult choice. We just jump ship and abandon what we've done so far to hop into the open archetype, or we just really cling to Junji at all costs, stick to our red-black dreams right now. I think I'm going to try to pivot to what's open. We've been seeing just a lot of green and white cards in almost every pack. I think even just completely switching strategy at this point, we should be able to get a reasonable green-white deck, even starting in pack 2. And certainly getting past a Goshintai of Boundless Vigor helps a lot there. This card is really, really nice. It's going to sit there getting bigger and bigger by itself, and if you get multiple shrines out, it gets really big really fast. Huge fan of that. Obviously, getting past a second Kumano Faces Kakazan is a little awkward, because if I just took 2 Kumano Faces Kakazans in a row, that'd be a pretty great spot to be in the red-black deck. But we're going to try to hop into the more open archetype here. Well, maybe I am still open to black. We see a Leech Gauntlet here, 2 mana for a 2/2 lifelinker that can reconfigure to give something else lifelink. Pretty solid card there. And the white card's just okay, Befriending the Moths. I'll take a Leech Gauntlet, still a little speculative on black here. But I'm definitely moving into to green at least. Imperial Oath in white, one of the best cards in this pack for sure. Bamboo Grove Archer's been a pretty big overperformer as well. It's really good at blocking the early aggressive decks, especially ninjutsu decks. You play a 2 mana 3/3 defender reach, and ninjutsu decks just have such a hard time getting their ninjutsu cards to actually trigger through this thing. So I'm a big fan of that, but I think I'm going to go Imperial Oath. Really, really good late game play. So much power and toughness, and a huge scry setting up your draws. Now an Era of Enlightenment is really nice. Scry 2 gains 2 when it hits the board, turning to a 2/2 first strike pretty quickly. Turning into a pretty good looking green-white enchantment stack. Obviously, this has kind of just been an awkward draft pod because we got nothing for Ninjutsu Pack 1, and now we're getting Silver for Master here. But it happens. So be it. We're still getting good green-white stuff, so we'll just keep rolling with it. Naomi Pillar of Order is a very good card for the black-white deck if you have a good amount of artifacts and enchantments. 5 mana for a 4/4 and a 2/2 Vigilance, and get another 2/2 Vigilance every time you attack. Pretty ridiculous. Might even be worth like a splash. It's possible we even just like splash green here now. Focus in on white-black. Splash in a Kappa Tech Wrecker, I guess. I'm going to take Naomi here. Naomi's the strongest card in the pack by a lot. Does some ridiculous stuff, but if I wanted to be incredibly committed to green-white, I could still take Harmonious Emergence or Season of Renewal. But I'm going to take Naomi here. Really, really strong card. Alright. I guess I just don't know how the bots draft the format, because black is wide open if Life of Toshiro Umezawa is coming out. Pick 7 here. This is like a mythic rare tier, S tier uncommon in my opinion. 2 mana for a variety of very flexible abilities. Give something +2/+2, -1/-1, or gain 2 life. You do that twice in a row, then you get a 2/3 out of this card. If you get to kill anything with the -1/-1 trigger of this card, it just feels like you've already won the game, because you've got a huge 2-for-1 right off the bat, which is always really nice. Just a huge fan of Life of Toshiro Umezawa. It's even better in this format with ways to ninjutsu it and recast it. Those can be just disturbingly good. You can even recast it with like a geothermal Kami, which is what I'll take here because these black and white cards are unplayable. Not that I'm trying to be green-black or green-white anymore, but since I'm straight up not going to play these cards no matter what, we just have that to kind of solidify our backup plan. Chainflail Centipede is fine here for the black-white deck because we do care about our number of artifacts and enchantments with Naomi. However, that's a pick 9 Kumano Faces Kakazan. If we get a pick 9 and a pick 10, maybe we're still in that direction. We're just going to keep taking the strongest card in each pack and just, we'll just figure out what colors we are in the deck building, I guess. Alright, we didn't get past both Kumano Faces Kakazan, so one of the bots just had a crisis of faith or something, where they were like, alright, I'm not a red deck, and they got past another Kumano Faces Kakazan, they're like, maybe I am. Just changed their mind immediately. Anyways, we'll take a Dokuchi Shadow Walker here. Very good with all of our enter the battlefield effects, being able to ninjutsu that card back, smack our opponent for 5, and recast something with a good ETB. Like Inkai's Infiltrator a lot in decks with some ninjutsu in them, because it's got that flying to help out there, plus it has the activated ability that's going to make it so your opponent never wants to block this. Like if you attack with this into their 2/3 flyer with 4 mana up, they have 2 options, which is to block it, in which case you spend 4 and kill their 2/3 flyer, or not block it, in which case you ninjutsu out your Shadow Walker and deal 5 to them. So Inkai's Infiltrator plays a lot better than it looks. Really nice card in the format. Bamboo Grove Archer in case we are pushed in that green backup plan. Clawing Torment is okay in aggressive black strategies, so I'll pick it up. Just shutting off a blocker for your opponent and making them lose a life every turn can be big. Alright, pack 3, what goodies lie in store for us? We have no removal yet, and Touch the Spirit Realm is a pretty great removal spell, exiling an artifact or creature until it leaves the battlefield. I think that's what we're going to scoop up here, sticking to that white-black Naomi deck, ideally. Alright, pack 3, pick 2. Michiko's Reign of Truth can do a ridiculous amount of damage really quickly, with a good artifact enchantment count, which we certainly have here. Push into the black-white deck, and we have 16 cards. That means we're going to need to get 7 more playables this pack. Definitely doable. We have 4 artifacts and 6 enchantments. That's 10. This is going to be a lot of damage really quickly. This pack's a really hard choice, though, because it's a lot of really good stuff. I think I'm still going to go with the Reign of Truth, but there's also Banishing Slash for some removal. This isn't massively flexible, because it only destroys tapped creatures, but it does destroy artifacts, enchantments, or tapped creatures. Now that's actually really, really good, and we have the artifact enchantment theme going on, so we might even get a 2/2 Samurai off of this. Well, this is a monumentally difficult pack to choose from. We have a Spirited Companion, a Banishing Slash, a Michiko's Reign of Truth, a Dockside Chef, and a Mukatai Ambusher. All 5 of those. Incredibly good cards for our deck, incredibly reasonable choices. I think I've actually talked myself into the Banishing Slash here, though. Just up our amount of interaction a bit. It's the one thing we're really kind of missing out on. Alright, pack 3, pick 3. Another removal spell here. This one is actually a bit inflexible, because it only exiles large creatures or enchantments. Dockside Chef's a super nice card. Gives us a good way to sacrifice creatures whenever they're going to die, to get some extra value off of them. Shadow Walker's solid. Centipede's okay, just because we want more artifacts. And Sunblade Samurai's fine as well. Blossom Branch is the strongest card in the pack, but pretty committed to the black-white strategy now. 9 creatures, 7 non-creatures. Definitely need a good creature count here, but I've got some sagas that are creatures as well. 6 2-mana creatures. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 cards that are creatures or make creatures. 3, 4 removal spells if you count Clawing Torment, but that really doesn't count. Like, even Kunai's a little bit of a push, because if they have a 4 toughness creature, obviously it doesn't kill that, but a little bit low on removal. I don't think I'm low enough on removal to want to repel the Vial that badly. I think I'm just going to take the Dockside Chef here. Big fan of the activated ability on that card. Now we have another Shadow Walker, and that's about it. There's a little combat trick here that's not incredible. Network Terminal if I really want to splash in some green, but I don't think that's where I'm at here. Pretty much nothing here, so I guess I take the Network Terminal this pack. Not going to play a Kami of Restless Shadows. Card can be okay if your ninja count is very high, but it's not here. We have 3. Yeah, you really want to be able to get a card straight back to your hand. Not the top of your library for that to be playable. And even then, it's just alright. Yeah, we have no rogues, 3 ninjas. Yeah, not going to make the cut. We'll grab a Network Terminal. Another Blossom Prancer here. Pack 3, pick 6. Well, I'm not really going to play a Kitsune Ace or a Debt to the Kami, so I'll take a Blossom Prancer, I suppose. Jukai Preserver now. It feels like literally everything is open and nothing is open at the same time. Just kind of a strange part of bot draft. We could take a Goshintai Boundless Vigor as well, but double up on the legends, and I know it's not statistically likely, but it feels like I'm always going to draw both in the same hand. Get punished hard. Another Geothermal Kami. Our green might be better than one of our main colors here. Now we have a Harmonious Emergence as well, or a Tamio Safekeeping. 3rd Shadow Walker's fine. We might actually be playing green in the end here, because we just got a suite of incredible green cards. What's the color count here? 7 green, 7 white, 9 black. Maybe green black? That's where we're going. Take a Harmonious Emergence here. If I go green black though, I have straight up no removal, which is an issue. Green black splash white. Every white card in the deck only requires a single white mana, except for Banishing Slash. That's going to be rough. Green black splash might be green black splash white might be where we're at. Creature count actually pretty high when we add the green in. I'll take the Tamio Safekeeping. Another Uncharted Haven or an Ecologist's Terrarium are both great ways to splash. I think I'll take the Terrarium here. Terrarium is a way to splash and get another land into your hand to help you hit 5, 6 drop cards. Season of Renewal is great in this format. There are plenty of enchantments to return with it in the late game. Again, love Season of Renewal. I'll take another one here. Commune with Spirits is also not bad. You can play this card to just cut a land out of your deck, because anytime you needed this to be a land, you just cycle it into a land immediately. And then if you draw it late game, you cycle it into an enchantment instead. So I do like Commune with Spirits a lot too, but Season of Renewal is just a very, very big swing in value in the late game. So we kind of dabbled in everything but blue there. I think blue was the only color that was pretty cut. Did see another Silver Fur Master. Did see a Modern Age early, but we never saw any late Modern Ages or Network Disruptors or just any of the big blue cards late. So I think that was kind of the only color that wasn't open at some point in our draft pod, so kind of made us all over the place here. Looks like we could cut 7 cards. We're going to cut primarily white cards. I think I have to cut Banishing Slash, just make the mana base as easy as possible. But we keep Touch the Spirit Realm, Imperial Oath, and Naomi. Got a Terrarium and an Uncharted Haven. Network Terminal might not be necessary here. Don't love Clawing Torments. I don't hate it. Just don't think it looks particularly great in this deck. Not really sure what I'm cutting here. I think all of our cards look pretty great. Maybe one of these Season of Renewals. So we need to cut 3 cards. Dockside doesn't really have any synergies in this deck. It's just there to sack creatures when they're going to die to removal anyway, so we kind of need to have a bunch of mana up at instant speed for that to be good. Maybe Dockside's not even that great in here. Again, we just don't have any token production whatsoever or any incredibly expendable cards. We've got the 2 Circuit Menders. That's about it. I think I might actually cut Dockside. Clawing Torment. Only ninjutsu cards in the deck are the 2 Shadow Walkers. Don't really need the Inkrise Infiltrator here. Still 15 creatures plus a Life of Toshiro Umezawa is 16. Plus Imperial Oath is 17, so even if I cut Infiltrator, it's like 16. Yeah, I'll cut the Infiltrator. I'll keep the Network Terminal in. I think our deck has just a lot of late game bomb power between Naomi and Junji the Midnight Sky. So just making sure we can hit those mana costs. Gonna be worth it overall to be kind of down a card since we have played something that didn't really affect the board in any way. I think I'm gonna roll with this as the deck. We're gonna be a green-black deck at the core, splashing a little bit of whites. We have 10 green cards, 6 black cards, and 3 white. Currently 7 green sources, 6 black sources, and 3 white sources. I think I want to up the green sources a little there. Drop down to 2 planes. I only have 1 double black card in the deck, that is Junji the Midnight Sky, because we're trying to ninjutsu the Shadow Walkers anyway, so we only need the single black to do that. We have Terrarium, Network Terminal, and Uncharted Haven fixing mana. I think 2 planes is enough with all those. I think this is going to be the deck. Alright, here we have a look at the deck that we're going to be playing today. This is a green-black kind of enchantment value pile with a little white splash for some bomby stuff. So the core of the deck is playing some just really powerful, cheap enchantment-y stuff like Life of Toshiro Umezawa, Bamboo Grove Archer to lock down our opponent's attacks, and then having some really good value creatures like Kappa-Tech Record coming in, being a removal spell, and then if we can ninjutsu it back again, we can get another removal spell out of it again if we ninjutsu it with a Shadow Walker, which is really nice. Some Circuit Menders that are great to ninjutsu with the Kappa-Tech Record and the Shadow Walkers. Geothermal Kamis are great ways to return a Jukai Preserver or a Life of Toshiro Umezawa to recast them and get some great value there. And we've got Blossom Prancer being a huge 2-for-1, a 4/4 reach that also pulls a creature enchantment from our top 5, puts it in our hand. Naomi being a massive bomb, spitting out a 2/2 Samurai with Vigilance if we have an artifact and enchantment on board. Got a pretty great count of both of those card types. And then Junji the Midnight Sky being the most obvious mega bomb there. But also a late game Imperial Oath can be pretty bomby as well. So a lot of great value plays in the early to mid game to just keep up with whatever our opponent's doing, try to stay ahead in card advantage, and then several ways to try to close out the game as it ends here. Biggest flaw in the deck is a lack of removal. We only really have a Touch the Spirit Realm, Ninja's Kunai, and Kappa-Tech Wrecker as removal spells, but hopefully our plays are just a little bit stronger, a little more impactful, and we can come ahead that way. So without further ado, let's head into the gameplay. Here we are in game 1 of the Kamigawa Quick Draft, and I'm pretty happy with this hand. A little bit slow, but that is a-okay because we really have our mana set up here for whatever we draw into. Thanks to the terrarium here. And I'm just going to plop that down right now. I really need to make sure I hit a land drop next turn. And if I do this right now, then I know I can cast Network Terminal next turn. Just setting up for the long game here. Spirited Companion from our opponent. Really, really nice green-white enchantments deck from our opponents. The premium build around uncommon, the Jukai Naturalist, into one of the best commons in the whole set. Teachings of the Kirin now, the rare enchantment, playing it for only 1 mana thanks to the Naturalist. in a pretty bad spot already against this green-white enchantment stack. They are really popping off incredibly quickly. Probably do need to just play a Circuit Mender, gain some life, and have a blocker on the board here. Could take the turn off to play Network Terminal, and that would guarantee I have the mana to play a Kami next turn, but I have nothing to bounce with the Kami anyway, so it's not that impressive of a play coming up. Another Jukai Naturalist off of the Commune with Spirits for our opponent. Awkward draw for us here. The opponent is going to block this Circuit Mender every time. But if they don't, somehow that'll keep us in the game. I don't have much of another option here. Oh my god, they didn't. Alright. That is so good for us. So we ninjutsu the attack record here. Exile the Jukai Naturalist or the Teachings of the Kirin. Whenever it attacks, exile a creature from grave, get a 1/1. Non-creature card, get a +1/+1 counter. I think I exile one of these Naturalists, but it could be the Teachings. And this thing doesn't have haste at least, so we can get rid of it later if we get another way, or we could just hold up a blocker for it. Alright, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtled. Probably the only time I'm holding up the mana for this. That being said, I could ninjutsu this back with a Shadow Walker. And it's awkward that I've used my +1/+1 counter. Sure, we'll just pass. Send in for 4 damage. Light the Way, return their Spirited Companion, draw a card with it. Basically cycled the Light the Way to draw a card. It's pretty reasonable. Alright, we have 5 mana now. I want to play Circuit Mender and hold up a Tameo Safekeeping, but I can also just play the Network Terminal and play the Circuit Mender. I don't really need to Safekeeping anything that badly here. And by playing the Terminal, I'm setting up a Imperial Oath, and if I Imperial Oath, I've kind of got the board state on lock. Alright, I have enough creatures to trade into anything they want to attack in with. And then we grind out the long game with cards like Season of Renewal. Befriending the Moths. Alright, that could be a problem. Because that could kill me pretty quickly. I get flying on a creature for the next 2 turns, then they're going to have a 2/4 flyer on the board. Yep, this Befriending the Moths is pretty bad for me. Don't really have a great play here. I need to just scry into and out. Naomi's a very strong card, but Naomi doesn't beat Befriending the Moths. Yeah, we're already winning on board. I don't need Naomi to win on the ground. On the ground, not on the board. Circuit Mender can get in now because I have all these other attackers. We likely just let it die if they double block. Although Tamiyo's safekeeping is an option. Jump block, fair enough. Touch the Spirit Realm. Exile an artifact or creature. Turn it to the battlefield under someone's control to begin the next end step. Very okay with that. Just cycle Touch the Spirit Realm to draw a card. They turned their removal spell into Revitalize. Gain 2 life, draw a card. Feels like a good deal for me. Ooh, Blossom Prancer's pretty big. Yeah, one of our main removal spells is an enchantment. So that does dig for that. Oh, and it has reach! Oh, we don't even need a removal if we just get a reach creature down. Lower, probably take another Circuit Mender, although Leech Gauntlet is tempting. I believe I take a Circuit Mender here. No way to get through this Jukai Naturalist right now. I could Terrarium to make one of these a 3/3 Vigilance, but then I'm not holding up Tamiyo's safekeeping, so we're going to wait a turn for that. We need to protect Blossom Prancer to keep a creature on board that can block their flyer. I guess theoretically if Blossom Prancer dies I can bring it back with Season of Renewal, but then it could get exiled by the Kirin Touch Orochi depending on when it dies, and that would be an issue. Definitely if it dies pre-combat, we really need the Tamiyo safekeeping it. Alright, they're just going to pass turn here. Could have done the draw a card, discard a card thing, but then again, there'd be a window where I'm not holding up the safekeeping. That does not feel ideal to me. So now that they have a 2/4 out, I can't make one of these big enough to attack into their 2/4. Let's probably just hold on to Terrarium still. Just kind of passing turn every turn, waiting for Junji or something like that. Okay, now I can definitely network terminal. Hey, there's Junji. Pretty sweet. Kami doesn't do anything right now. When it does, we can Season of Renewal it. I guess the Shadow Walker doesn't either. Alright, we've got our win condition, and we have a way to protect it. And a way to return it from our grave to hand. And that's going to be our plan. I could put a +1/+1 counter on it right now with the Terrarium, but I would rather have the option between using Safekeeping or Season of Renewal. Web Spinner Cuff. That's a problem, because now they have 2 creatures that can block flyers, which is what they need to block a Flying Menace card. They have a 4/7 reach, but they'll have to block with a 4/7 reach and a 2/4 flyer, and then I can safekeeping and just kill the Imperial Moth, and then I can get in every other turn. Goshintai of Boundless Vigor. Only gives itself the +1/+1 counters, can't put them on Junji. Yep, I think we put a counter on the Midnight Sky. Attack in safekeeping. And Season of Renewal later. We're just going to take it. Fair enough. Auto Tapper is such an absolute idiot. Yes, I'm going to tap double green with a hand of nothing but green cards. Alright, well now we're setting up a Goshintai of Boundless Vigor as another potential threat. Ninja's Kunai. They can throw 3 damage wherever they want. Kill my Goshintai of Boundless Vigor. I think I just let that happen. It's probably better to just keep safekeeping in hand for Junji than it is to save the Goshintai right now. Especially when I can Season of Renewal it back. Season of Renewal the Shadow Walker plus Goshintai. Yep. Let it happen. And we don't let that happen, and that is why you don't Tameo safekeeping the 2/2. Although I could have Season of Renewal the Junji instead, but keep it at these stats here. We are going to kill that 4/7, 100%. They have 1 card in hand here. It's got to be a really good trick to win this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can kill whatever you want there. We're going to get that gigantic lifelinker off the board. Okay. That is far from the most dangerous safekeeping I've seen. We just killed 2 of our 2/2s. And now they can't block Junji at all this turn. I could have network terminaled there off of tapping a Circuit Mender. Let's forget about that. Pick up Shadow Walker and Boundless Vigor here. Probably do. Double block Blossom Prancer, but if it goes into my grave, that means I get to return it to hand and use its enter the battlefield effect again later. Alright, chump block it is. Obviously, they knew that I had the ninjutsu card in hand, so pretty unlikely they just let the Prancer through there. Because then I just get an incredible amount of value. Alright, they had an empty hand at the start of this turn, so unless they literally top-decked another combat trick, they just kill a single card here and lose the Naturalist. Alright, they killed one Samurai off that attack. Naturalist is gone. Reconfigure onto their 1/1. Ooh, touch the Spirit Realm. Artifact or creature, we can exile the Cuff. They have no blocks for Junji after that. They don't have enough power to kill Junji though, so it's probably safer to just keep this in hand. And just not worry about them top decking into a massive threat. Three attacks from lethal. No creatures or enchantments in grave. I swear we've got enchantments in here. Yeah, we've got 3 more enchantments in the deck. Probably want to actually double check my enchantment count. Feels like I've been really low on that. Hey, there we go. There's a really good one with the Kami. Ninja's Kunai as well. This is some sweet, sweet stuff. Alright, opponent is down to 10. Drop a Ninja's... I need to stop letting auto tapper spend all my green mana. Not that it's going to matter here, I only have 1 green instant. But still, I don't know why it's so obsessed with tapping my forests. Alright, I was going to say the plan here now is if they just move to the end step, we're just going to kunai their face to put them to 7, and then we untap +2/+2 Junji to make it an 8/8, and exile the Moth, attack for lethal with no way they can block. Long game for game 1 here, nice grindy one. Not something we've seen recently with Brothers War for sure. But yeah, some cool stuff there, 1-0 to start it off. Did not expect that game to grind out as much as it did there after the early aggressive start from our opponent getting 2 of the mana reducing enchantment creatures down. So they just dump their hand real quick, get incredibly aggressive. Very keepable hand here. If our opponent's aggressive, we get to just slam down a Bamboo Grove Archer, and if they're not, slam down a Goshintai and start working its way up. Leech Gauntlets. They're green-black here, not that scared of a turn 3 ninjutsu, I think. Well, I'm probably still going to play Bamboo Grove Archer, because Goshintai doesn't get counters until you have extra mana up, and if I play it on turn 2, I don't have a mana to put a counter on it anyway. Alright, that to the Kami, my 3/3. Seems reasonable. Leech Gauntlet leeching all my life away. Now they've got a Bearer of Memory, a 3/2 out there. Geothermal Kami doesn't really do much right now. Now I can play Tamio Safekeeping and shoot one of their creatures with my kunai. I think I'd rather kunai than Safekeeping here. That way I still have this at the ready later. If I play Kami, I don't have the mana to put a counter on the Goshintai and play Safekeeping. I'm gonna keep playing it super safe. We're not really under any pressure here, if we can just keep our 4/4 on the board. Let's do what we can to do that. Gloom Shrieker, return a permanent from grave. Alright, Bearer of Memory is back. Has a really good mana sink if they make it to 6 mana. Start putting +1/+1 counters on their creatures, giving them trample. Not a fan of that. Alright, so now we're playing the Kami. We are definitely not returning the Goshintai. We have fine blocks with Kami, so we could attack with Goshintai. Worst case scenario, they make me use my Safekeeping to kill both their creatures, which is not abysmal. Our Vigor knows no bounds. We've got 4 +1/+1 counters so far. Oh. There's their own Goshintai, but luckily mine is much larger at this point. Big fan of that. Take 2 damage from the Menace from the Gloom Shrieker. Gloom Shrieker is an incredibly good card to ninjutsu. Because it's got that Menace, so you know it's going to get in. And it has that really good enter the battlefield effect. So our draws have obviously not been ideal here. We're very low on gas. Feels like we only need a couple more cards to get firmly in the lead here. But we've just hit all lands so far. But our Goshintai is doing its hardest to keep up right now, which is nice. Ooh, a Leech Gauntlet off the top. The Mirror Match. That's a draw and a half. Alright. That's super okay with me. I got that trample coming in hot. I love that I could put a counter on their Goshintai if I want, but that sounds like a bad idea. That's probably not ideal. Lifelink onto the Menace card. Makes sense, their best way to get in for damage. Which means their best way to gain life. Trade Kami into the Goshintai here. I put them to 1 life if they don't take this trade, and if they do, they lose their creature that keeps getting bigger. So it actually feels like a pretty good attack to me. Alright, everything could crumble if our opponent draws 1 removal spell here. Because we are just empty in the tank. Season of Renewal. That's not going to do it. We can still trample over for lethal. They could play Bearer of Memory, then they have 3 toughness on board, and they gain 2 life from Gloomshrieker's lifelink, so they could go to 2, but they'd have to chump block both. I guess they could chump block. They can do the same with Goshintai. Double block and go to 2. If they do that, they're just dead on board. Oh, no, they go to 1. I am incorrect. They go to 1 on board. What happens if I unconfigure here? 6/6 trample, 2/2 lifelink. That's just not worth it. Right, because then they just trade with a 2/2 and go to 1 still. This way I gain a lot more life if I just don't unconfigure, so we just don't unconfigure. Alright, I was low on gas for quite some time, but now we've drawn a major piece of action. Junji, the Midnight Sky. So we are going to use that. Now we have a Flying Menace card on the board that is incredibly difficult to block. So even if they have 1 removal spell, pretty firmly got lethal on board thanks to 2 evasive threats, one just a gigantic trampler, the other one Flying Menace. Alright, put a couple counters on Gloomshrieker so they gain some more life off of this attack. And Master's Rebuke to do 4 damage to our Midnight Sky and gain 4 more damage to us to go up to 9, but then they are very dead on board. We'll send it in and they scoop it up. That is going to be 2-0 to start off this draft. Incredible work done by our Goshintai there. We were quite a bit behind when it came to cards, just because we had like 10 lands that game, but our individual cards just did so much work. Having the Goshintai on turn 3, getting a counter on it every turn of that game. Really a huge snowball effect there on that card. Alright, well, I'm definitely going to keep this, but it is a risky one. We need to draw land to get to Network Terminal. If we can get to Network Terminal, we should be all set up. But obviously, if we don't hit our 3rd land in the first couple draws here, we're going to have some issues. Alright, we did hit a land. So that is very nice. Our opponent is on red-white. Pretty aggressive archetype in this format. It's a Samurai and Warrior deck. Ooh, hoo hoo. Love drawing that when my opponent plays a 2/1. Clear it out and gain 2 life and get a 2/3. Incredibly good deal for only 2 mana. And I am more than willing to play off curve to do that. Anytime you can kill something with a life of Toshiro Umezawa, you take that. You take that opportunity to get the 2-for-1. They can recast enchantments from their grave with Norika Yamazaki. Could play Circuit Mender, but I think I'd rather play Terminal, because then if I draw any land, I'm playing the Midnight Sky. Also gets me closer to Imperial Oath. Ecologist's Terrarium from our opponent. They get to grab whatever basic land they need, reveal it, and put it into their hand. It's just a mountain, so just a 2-color deck. And they're going to get a counter on the Vigilant Samurai. Hit us for 4 here. Solid aggressive start there. Not hit a land here. Pretty rough. We go Circuit Mender, hold up Tamio's Safekeeping Pass. Goshintai of Shared Purpose. Incredible card. That helped me win $1,000 in the Arena Open. thing is ridiculous, and we're going to have a very, very bad time if we don't hit lands now. Never mind. We didn't hit a land here, but we can kill the Goshintai immediately, and it exiles it, which is very important when they have a Narika Yamazaki on the board. And very important to note here, while the Memory of Toshiro taps for mana, it's only for instants and sorceries. We cannot cast Junji off of the Memory of Toshiro. Another Ecologist's Terrarium. Well, this Narika is getting very big. That'll be 4 toughness now. That still dies to a double block. Imperial Recovery Unit. Every time that attacks, return a creature with mana value 2 or less from grave to battlefield, can return the Papercraft Decoy. Mana is not working in our favor today, that's for sure. We just need to get more power and toughness on this board. If I play the Kami, I'm not holding up safekeeping, but I don't really need to hold up safekeeping right now. Could bounce the Memory of Toshiro with Geothermal Kami. I can recast it later to kill like the 1/1 here, but just okay. It's probably worth it, because I can also use it to kill the 2/1 if they bring it back with Imperial Recovery Unit. And now I have some reasonable plays if I don't hit a land again, if things continue as they have. Imperial Oath, that's pretty devastating. Scry all 3 to the bottom. They got a full draw 3 off the Oath, basically. Alright, cool. We got a land here. Highly, highly doubt they don't have removal in hand. So I'm not all that impressed by just casting the Midnight Sky until I can hold up the safekeeping alongside it. I kind of want to treat the Midnight Sky as a 6-drop here and just play Leech Gauntlet, Life of Toshiro Umezawa. We're going to be passing the turn back to them. Thinking it out here. They're in the think tank. They are going to crew recovery unit here potentially. They're definitely reading over it, seeing what their options are. Goshintai of Ancient Wars. Well, that's kind of okay. That's the least threatening Goshintai on board by itself. Just does 1 damage to us every turn. If they cast another one of the white Goshintai and then they have 2 of them on board, activating both of those abilities, that'll be a big problem. But taking 1 damage every turn, not the quickest clock. We're at 23 life, that'll be fine. We are pretty okay with that. Unfortunately, no land here makes me not want to play Junji. We have nothing to kill here, so we'll just gain 2. Play a Bamboo Grove Archer. Pass the turn, and I can draw discard with Network Terminal to try to hit my land drop. I guess I could do it right now. I'm gonna have to discard like Season of Renewal if I hit a land here, which is kind of rough. Because I need Junji and safekeeping, and then the best follow-up play would be Oath after that. So probably discarding Season of Renewal. I guess I'll wait till their end step to do it, because if they make some kind of massive attack here, I'd like to be able to have multiple creatures die and then Season of Renewal both of them. Network Terminal of their own, so we're both going to sit here drawing, discarding. Yep, they're just going to use it immediately. So they don't have a lot of instants in their hand, most likely. Take that Go Shintai damage. And let's guarantee that we hit a land here. There's the land. Alright, Season of Renewal, sorry. Just gonna plop our massive win condition onto the board, hold up a Tamiyo safekeeping to protect it, and then start swinging in. And hopefully they only have like one removal spell here, and our patience has been rewarded. If I played it even more patiently and didn't use Network Terminal, having a Season of Renewal backup with the Junji would also be pretty awesome. But I was a pretty big fan of locking in that land draw. Another Imperial Oath, that's certainly not good for us, but it's not horrible. We have a lot of 3 toughness creatures on this board, which is very good against the onslaught of 2/2s. Biggest problem with that is the scry 3, letting them scry towards their removal, and they did scry 1 card to the bottom. So I assume they don't have removal in hand, but they did get removal off the top here, and that we will go ahead and use our safekeeping against. We're just going to take 4 swings from Junji to finish this game off. That is our plan. They still don't have any enchantments in their grave to recast off Norika Yamazaki. We don't have to worry about that as any kind of value engine. Looking at my circuit member. Alright, we're down to 22. No, they're not going to pay for that. They're holding 2 mana up. Don't remember the removal well enough to know what this could be, but we've got a Tamiyo safekeeping, so whatever. High-speed hover bike just to tap Junji for 1 turn. That is a-okay with me. We're definitely not going to waste the safekeeping against that. Maybe it's a hover bike into the Banishing Slash next turn. That would be quite funny. Here's an Imperial Oath of our own. Scry, scry, keep Shadow Walker here. Actually, don't even think we do. Really just looking for like our second Season of Renewal. Blossom Prancer, Naomi, a lot of big stuff like that. They've got 8 creatures on board. There you go for some Imperial Recovery Unit shenanigans. Bring back their Papercraft decoy. Selfless Samurai. Sack it to give something indestructible. Sure. Now it's a 4/5. It's coming on in. Returning the Papercraft decoy. And they get to kill one of our 2/3s. Kill the Samurai token, alright. Choose to kill the 2/2. That is A-okay. So, traded a 2/2 Samurai token with Vigilance for the 2/2 card that keeps giving lifelink and can give indestructible. Feels like a good trade to me. But they did get a card off the recovery unit there, getting the Papercraft decoy back. Oh, they can actually loop that. No, they can't, because they can recover unit now to get the Samurai back, but it won't have indestructible on that attack, so they only get one more recovery off of it. But they do recover the Selfless Samurai. That's kind of cool. It's not like an infinite loop, but pretty good value. Alright, we're getting more flaming shurikens in our face. I guess those aren't, those are katanas. Or not. They're still holding up 2 mana. Did they have another high-speed hoverbike? That would be pretty funny. I 100% should have played the Terrarium first and then played whatever land I tutored off of it. That was loose. Well, you all know me, I'm all about the loose plays. I think I would rather just give Junji lifelink right now than a +1/+1 counter. I don't have the mana to do both. Unless I don't hold up safekeeping, which is never going to be the play. Alright, that is a 10-point life swing right there. Deal 5 to them, gain 5 life. Oh, I see why they didn't shoot me. They can use their network terminal here. Draw a card, discard a card, look for more outs. Opponent's got the card games on motorcycles. Oh, they didn't want a network terminal. They could have been holding up the mana for Papercraft decoy. Oh, they do have an additional Goshintai of Shared Purpose. That is pretty scary. If we didn't have a Leech Gauntlet on this Junji, I'd be a little worried about a race situation here, but with this Leech Gauntlet, I'm pretty sure I outrace them. No enchantments in Graveright, yeah. Alright, they're just going to draw a card off this Papercraft decoy. Sounds good. I think I'm gonna give them the card. They do have a lot of life to play around with, but they do have a pretty wide board state that's going to get even wider, even quicker, and they're doing 2 damage to me a turn and getting 2 1/1s a turn. I just want to make really sure that Junji outraces them in 3 attacks. We have the safekeeping with Junji. Probably should have just taken the damage, because I'm even going to make Junji even bigger here with a +1/+1 counter. I don't know who's supposed to wield the kunai here, but I guess I'll just give it to a samurai. Alright, they're dead in 2 attacks now because we can kunai their face for 3. And that would put them to 6 life, dead in 1 attack from Junji. Draw a card, discard a card off the network terminal, digging for some removal. Discarding a plains, playing a Moth Rider patrol. They do have 2 flyers now, so they can double block. So that gives them 1 more turn to find a solution. Because if they don't double block this turn, I just kunai their face and finish the game. Shadow Walker's pretty cool. Doesn't do a ton here, we're just probably going to play it as a 5/5. We're just holding on to the kunai here because they're already just forced into a double block, so we just get to kill both flyers here. Which I feel like is more valuable than just killing like 1 flyer and putting them to 3 right now. And this plays around any really weird tricks where they try to make one of the flyers big enough to kill Junji, because then we can just shoot it in response. 4 damage to an attacking or blocking creature. Yep, so we can shoot the high-speed hover bike in response here, and Junji will have taken 5. And then we get to keep the safekeeping. Cool. So we got rid of 1 removal spell in their hand, both of their flying blockers, and we still have safekeeping. I should have played the Shadow Walker. I guess I could just draw and discard a card off network terminal instead, discard the Shadow Walker here. I've probably missed some network terminal draws throughout this game. They're down to 13 cards? They must not have a lot of removal in there if they're down to 13 cards. They're getting a very wide board state. I'm So incredibly glad I have this Leech Gauntlet to put on the Gingy, because, yeah, I mean, they're getting to a board state that kills me in like 3 swings or something without lifelink. There's a lot of Imperial Oaths. Neither of those are great. Just prefer the cheaper one, the Goshentai. Now we have a Season of Renewal. That feels very good. Now I feel incredible safe. We've got the Season of Renewal to bring back the Junji if it dies. We have the safekeeping to make sure it doesn't die. Alright, moment of truth. Intercessor's Arrest. I have to safekeeping that, because that doesn't put Junji in the grave, where I could Season of Renewal it. Alright, if they draw instant speed removal off of this network terminal, then they might have us here. Looks like they have not, and that should be game. That is going to be game. Another very long, grindy one. Kind of just how these green-based value piles go in the format. Some very grindy games. But that is going to be... I want to say 3-0 because it's been so long, but it might just be 2-0. It is 3-0 as we head into Game 4. Alright, here we are for Game 4. This is the closest to mulligan we've ever had. We are on the play without a green source of mana and nothing to play till turn 3. And that's only if we hit a land of some kind. I think I need to mulligan this. I mean, we have a double green card in here with no green source at all. We only have a 2-lander. Again, nothing castable. I'm going to take the mulligan here. It's much more reasonable. We've got a Life of Tashiro Umezawa into a Circuit Mender. Probably get rid of the Kunai here. Although I could get rid of Preserver, but I think I'd rather have this 2-3-4 curve if I can hit a green source in my first 3 draws. Alright, here we go. Number one thing I'd be interested in seeing here in round 4 is if we're capable of having a game end before like turn 20, win or lose. And opponent is on an aggressive strategy. Turn 1 Okiba Reckoner Raid, very, very good card. Best black common in the format. A lot of these sagas in the format were incredibly pushed. It's 1 mana to drain your opponent for 2 life and get a 2/2 menace. Ridiculous deal. And now a Bamboo Grove Archer from our opponent, shutting off our attacks from our lifelinker. Gonna be an uphill battle here for sure. We'll drop the Circuit Mender and pass the turn. I do have the Ecologist's Terrarium to get the Life of Toshiro, or sorry, to get the Jukai Preserver's green source. But the plan is next turn we can Terrarium for the forest, play the forest, and also play Life of Toshiro Umezawa. No 1 toughness creature from our opponent though, and we did just naturally draw the green source, so that is the case. I think I'll Preserver, put a counter on... Tempted to put a counter on the Leech Gauntlet, but because I can reconfigure it onto any other creature for the lifelink, might not want to. Might just put a counter on itself here. I definitely don't want to put a counter on Circuit Mender because that's our very expendable creature. I think I just put a counter on Preserver and we work to get a 5/5 out with Terrarium. 5/5 attacks in pretty well on this board. Zeus's Many Journeys. Opponent is just kind of a collection of just premium little uncommon enchantment things. I guess the Reckoner Raid is a common, but does not feel like it. unforgiving one now. Alright, that one's more filler than the rest. So 2-3 Menace. That's pretty much it. Got a Naomi coming up. That's going to be incredibly good. Let's Terrarium for another green source, and then Life of Toshiro Umezawa. We can attack with a 6/6 here. And I get to play a Naomi next turn, which is really, really good. Is attacking with a 6/6 significantly better than attacking with a 5/5? If I attack with a 5/5, they can double block with these two. Yeah, we'll go for the 6/6 attack instead of using Terrarium right now. Pretty cool with this. I think I do want to kill these two that can actually attack, although getting the higher power creature off our opponent's board is also kind of nice. I think I'm just going to kill the two attackers here. As long as I can keep Life of Toshiro Umezawa on the board, I'm pretty okay with that trade. The only flaw is if all of my enchantments are gone, Naomi's not going to trigger anymore. Ooh, Tameo Safekeeping. Sweet draw. Wish I had one more mana though, so that I could cast it immediately. Even without that ability, it should be pretty nice here. +2/+2 to Leech Gauntlet, traded into the Archer. 4/5 double blocks, trades into Archer either way. Probably just gain 2 life and don't attack here. Maybe I should have just killed the Bamboo Grove Archer in the dock side. I definitely wanted to kill the dock side. Didn't want my opponent to be able to just start jumping ahead in card advantage. But it might have been better to kill a 3/3. Thing is a pretty annoying blocker. Alright, no attacks. They are going to play a Hitotsugu Devouring Chaos, which doesn't do anything until they hit a red source. They can sack their creatures to scry too, I guess. That's about it. They can get a counter on Naomi, but even as a 5/5, they double block with 2/3 toughness creatures. So I'm pretty sure I just attack with Naomi as is. Spend a Tameo Safekeeping and get another 2/2 here. Clear a little bit out of the way. Could go ahead and reconfigure onto Naomi as well. Gain a bunch of life in the process. Well, that's a pretty nice little 1-for-1 there. Tameo Safekeeping for Hitotsugu. I do have a Network Terminal. That's it for draw discard. Probably do want to play this at this point. I don't have that much mana. Do they have a Sick Ninjutsu card here? Yes, Dokuchi Silencer, which lets them destroy Naomi by discarding that Inkrise Infiltrator. Pretty good stuff there. Unfortunate for us. The board state's still looking pretty good here. Trade a 3/3 Samurai. I mean, neither of us really gets to attack in at all. I guess I get to trade a 3/3 Samurai into their Bamboo Grove Archer and just get one thing out of the way. If I make Circuit Mender a 3/4, then they have to double block and let me kill an actual threat instead of the Bamboo Grove Archer. And I draw a card when it dies. Actually seems kind of reasonable. because I can reconfigure onto Circuit Mender so they can't just ignore it and take the hits forever, or that's a 6-point life swing every turn. And as soon as they do make the trade with it, it's like I get to kill one of their actual attackers and draw a card in the process. So that feels pretty good. Yeah, so we kill the 3/3 that can attack, over the 3/3 that cannot, and we draw a card. And we draw into a 5/5. That's definitely going to be good. I'll keep this in hand in case they have any Virus Beetles. Totally forgot about Virus Beetle until this point. Nobody has cast a single one yet. Maybe the bots draft it really highly, but that was a key card in the format. Black's version of Spirited Companion. It's a 2-mana 1/1 that makes your opponent discard a card when you play it. I don't have good attacks on this board. I just play a 5/5 and pass, and then I equip that and start attacking with it. Biting Palm Ninja. That lets them rip something out of my hand, right? Other than that, it's just a 3/3 menace. Sure is. Alright, 3/3 menace, whatever. That's fine. They do have good blocks for a 5/5. That's not ideal. They can just block with a 3/3 and a 2/3. And we're not really doing anything here. It's a top deck war. Who can draw gas first? That's pretty gas, but not big enough to get through my 5/5. And that is definitely not gas. Well, opponent has not missed these last few turns. We definitely have. It's not looking good so far. Life of Teshurun is always another big one. +2/+2 to something. Put it on the forest, get attacks in because it's vigilance. 2 attacks in a row with a 6/7 here. Not going to be great for us. And the Unforgiving one. Interesting. They do have 1 modified creature. Mana value actually less. Oh, Unforgiving one actually gets to bring back Dockside Chef. That's pretty bad for us. Now they get to make an attack in with it that actually kills one of our creatures and brings back one of theirs. They have 2 modified creatures? Oh yeah, Harmonious Emergence counts as a modified creature. Alright, well, obviously not ideal. Is what it is. Season of Renewal. That is ideal. That is very ideal. 7, 8, 9 mana. 3 mana to renewal, 5 to play Naomi. Sure is the play. I think we're still not attacking right now. I guess now they don't have as good of a block for a 5/5 because their 2/3's gone. So against a 5/5 they go 3/3/3/3. Or 3/3/2/1 and I kill both. That actually seems kind of reasonable. This ninja gets in, it's going to rip the preserver out of my hand. But it attacks as a 5/5 menace. Yeah, no, we need to hold blocks until Life of Teshurun is always flipped. Once it's flipped, then we're definitely just going to start attacking. Okay, they're just going to buff the Infiltrator anyway. So no Biting Palm Ninja to rip out our Jukai Preserver. Alright, Inkrise Infiltrator, okay. Popping off. Being scary. Put a counter on Naomi here and they can only kill one of our 2 attackers. They're definitely going to kill Naomi, that's a lock, but I hit them for 5, get a 2/2, they trade into Naomi. They They have to double block over here, so we send in the 2/2s. Almost feels like I just send in the squad, honestly. Because there's no way they don't go 3-3-2-1 over here. I guess attacking with these opens them up to 3-3 here. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. Maybe I don't send the 2/2s in. Definitely these two. Yeah, I'll just do that. Already used my Tamiyo's safekeeping. I don't have any other tricks I could use here. So no point in drawing before. This resolves. And I'm pretty sure I don't have any 1-mana plays at all. I have a Ninja's Kunai I could draw into, I guess. Alright, sure. Alright. No attacks. 8 mana, double pump infiltrator, 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 toughness. Kill it with Life of Toshiro Mizawa post combat. Could also bounce it pre-combat, play it, and +2/+2 the Shadow Walker, and then attack. Could also pre-combat, play it, kill Silencer. But then they do have the block set up for Shadow Walker. I think I'm just going to attack with Shadow Walker and see what they do about it. And that'll choose how I want to use the Life of Toshiro Umezawa. I feel like they're going to block with Infiltrator and Double Pump. And then we'll bounce Life of Toshiro Umezawa, kill the Inkrise Infiltrator, and the turn after this, kill the Dokuji Silencer with it. So we get 2 kills off of Life of Toshiro Umezawa this way. I'd rather draw and discard than equip Leech Gauntlet right now. I probably should have just drawn and discarded during my turn again. Just in case we drew a 2-mana play. Alright, this Silencer is going to get pooped on by our Life of Toshiro Umezawa. That's going to be enjoyable. Oh, that is a draw. If something gets in, it's going to be horrific for our opponent. That being said, kind of hard to get something in right now. I could just play the Capitec Wrecker. It's a 1/3 Death Toucher. It trades off into the Archer or the Forest either way. Ooh, that is beautiful. Play Junji the Midnight Sky, and that is a big old win condition. I think I'm going to hold on to the Capitec Wrecker still. We've played this in a lot of our games, but that's because like every one of our game has gone to like the point where we're 3/4 of the way through our library by the end of it. Just grinding these games out. They do have a double block, actually. Inkrise plus Bamboo Grove Archer. But this triggers when it dies, puts a non-dragon from a graveyard on the battlefield under our control. It's still going to be worth the attack, for sure. We pick up Naomi again. Just keep popping off with Naomi, I guess. We actually should probably just pick up their Inkrise Infiltrator. Probably should have given lifelink here. Oh, no blocks, period. That's really tempting. Sure. Just get this ninjutsu while I know it's there. I guess I could have exiled the Bamboo Grove Archer so they wouldn't have a double block set up. But again, Junji has really good triggers when it dies that still put us ahead by far. There's the kunai. And so they won't have a double block still. Beautiful. So Seiju reaches skyward. Another very, very nice saga from the format, becomes an absolutely massive reach blocker eventually. Takes a couple turns to get there. Drawn to Season of Renewal. These draws are so good. Ninja's kunai does the damage. The creature doesn't do the damage. I thought I was going to get a little trick here. And I was going to get lifelink on this damage, but no. Okay. I have exactly enough mana to play Naomi here. That's better than equipping Junji, so we will play Naomi. For sure. I actually don't have an enchantment in my grave. Still worth just picking up Naomi. And we could just go wide around this branch, even if it does pop off. If I just attack all next turn, they're probably dead, right? They have 3 blockers. Block, block, block. That's even if I didn't have menace, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's exact lethal if Junji didn't have menace, which means it's overkill when it does. Alright, yeah, they see the writing on the wall, so they're just going to send stuff in. Get one last attack in here. Fade into Antiquity, exile an artifact or enchantment. That was the last draw they had there. Not going to be big enough to help them survive there, but it would kill one of our creatures. So we are going to be 4-0 now, and it looks like my goal there of figuring out if it would be possible to end a game before like turn 20, it's a failure. That was another 20 to 30 turn long game, it felt like. So some long games of Magic today, but we are 4-0 so far. Maybe we can grind our way all the way out into a 7-win run. Well, here we are in game 5, and going to be a sketchy keep here, a 2-lander, but we've got a really good 2-drop to play. If we hit 1 land, we have Circuit Mender, and we have the biggest bomb in our deck if we can make it to 5 mana. Luckily, we're on the draw, not on the play, which is definitely helpful for 2-landers, and we've got land number 3 to get to Circuit Mender at the minimum. Our opponent is going to start with a Jukai Naturalist, another aggressive start here. Now we're only 1 land draw away from getting to Junji, which is awesome. I'm not going to get greedy with Life of Toshiro Umezawa here. I'm just going to start the life gain immediately. Sometimes you can get greedy with it and try to wait till they play like a Spirited Companion or something, a 1/1, and then get rid of that thing, but they play defensive here. I'm pretty glad I did, because they've got 4 total power to hit us with next turn. So just gaining a bunch of life here and flipping this 2/3 as soon as possible seems like where we want to be when we're planning on just casting a Junji. Pretty bad matchup for Junji, because if they have removal, they are in white, so it's likely to exile the Junji, which means that it won't trigger when it dies, and more importantly, these 2 Season of Renewals in our hand might just be dead cards. So we are really crossing our fingers and hoping that if our opponent can kill our cards, at least they don't exile them. And yeah, Intercessor's Arrest, another card, works quite similarly to exile removal, where it's just locked out on the board. We can't get it back from graveyard, so just not having it in grave is really painful for us. So this could be a real bad matchup. Intercessor's Arrest at the start here. Fingers crossed. No way to deal with Junji. Oh my god, yeah, this is wildly aggressive. Now they've got the +1/+1 in flying. Getting in the sky, gaining 3 life again. There's a Tameo Safekeeping. It's going to be painful, but I'm going to wait a turn on Junji. Again, this taps for 1 black mana for an instant or sorcery, so I have no way to play Junji and hold up Safekeeping. So we'll just take another 3 damage here. Sunblade Samurai. Alright, here we go. There's Junji the Midnight Sky. We've got the Safekeeping held up. We've got 2 Season of Renewals that are looking super poor in this match. Geothermal Kami. They can return their Intercessor's Rest and then cast it on Junji. That is their plan. Since they're going to arrest Junji anyway, I think I attack in here. I guess they could double block. Kill Junji, and I only kill the Moth. But then I have Season of Renewal. Seven mana here. 8 mana if I use Memory of Toshiro. They have so many creatures out, this is scary. No blocks, alright. They are at 35 from all their life gain. Yeah, this game's not looking so hot. I wouldn't be surprised if they just re-arrest. Oh my god, all their enchantment creatures get +1/+1 now? That's like the whole board. I was gonna say, I wouldn't be surprised if they just re-arrested the Circuit Mender, actually, because they're in such a good aggressive position. They did go for the Junji, though. Yep, this is really bad. Season of Renewal is going to be really good here, though. I guess I'm only going to get 1 card back if I actually kill one of their attackers, which is definitely what I have to do, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I take 14 damage? No, I'm just dead. I'm just flat out dead. I guess I need to just go chump chump. That gives me max value off of Season of Renewal. As much life as possible. Imperial Oath is something. I just need to sit on my butt. Never attack again. Awesome Prancer is a big one. If I can survive another turn. Probably never just shouldn't have attacked with Junji in the first place. Totally forgot my opponent's at like 1,000,000 life. Now they have a 7/6 trample. Send in the Sunblade Samurai. Alright, send in the board. Yeah, it makes sense. Something like that. I need to kill all their highest power creatures immediately. Kill those. Take 3 damage, go to 6. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attackers next turn. I'll have 1, 2, 3 blockers. Maybe I have to trade with the Samurai here. There's nothing engraved to return. There's nothing engraved to return with Junji's ability. So that can't be it. Actually, I take 1 more damage this way, but I keep a Samurai by double blocking the Disciple. So I have 1 more blocker next turn. And I've still gotten rid of the exact same number of attackers on their board. Alright, so I can gain 4 life with this card. If I choose not to get something off the top, which is probably what I have to do. Can I survive picking up a Naomi here? I'm going to have 4 blockers total. 4/4 and a 2/3 on the 7/6. 2/2 on the 2/2. 5/5 on the 5/5. Take 4, 5, 6, 7. I just exactly die. I'm sure there's a way to not die picking up Naomi. But it is difficult. I think I just gained the 4 life because it gives me a lot more leeway in how I block. Super rough. But I have a Season of Renewal coming up, which also kind of grinds out into a potential win, like Naomi would. Oh no, I gained 2 from... I forgot about Circuit Mender's life gain. I actually could have blocked pretty reasonably, even picking up Naomi. Because I could have made the blocks that I mentioned went to 2. We can use their Tanuki against them here. And then I can Season of Renewal Junji and Circuit Mender, or Junji and Blossom Prancer. I'm pretty sure everything dies at the same time, and then I get to use Junji to bring back Tanuki. But I could also just make them discard their whole hand. Lose 2 life to get a 6/5 trample onto the board, or make them discard the 2 cards in hand. I think I'm going to make them discard the 2 cards in hand. Ooh, we got rid of a Goshintai. That was reasonable. That was reasonable. Got a 2/2 and a 2/3 now. Got a 3/3, 4/3, and 2/2 that we're facing up against. Can have plenty of blockers here. If I just play a 5/5 flyer, they don't really have attacks. So we Season of Renewal it up. Might be safer to go Leech Gauntlet this turn, but they have nothing in hand. This is still very safe. Oh, there's no enchantments in my grave. I forgot. I can't bring 2 creatures back with that. Blossom Prancer is not an enchantment creature. In that case, I'm just gonna set up... I'm just gonna set up some solid blocks here, and hopefully get an enchantment creature to die this turn. Hopefully they still go aggro. Send in the 4/3 at least. Alright, they don't go aggro at all. Weaver of Harmony. Yeah, Goshintai Boundless Vigor off the top is pretty exceptional. because it doubles up with Weaver of Harmony. That is really bad for me. Actually just picking up Blossom Prancer? There's no way, right? Because if I pick up Junji, I can make a gigantic flying lifelinker. But I need to draw removal for this Goshintai, and Blossom Prancer can dig for it. Pick up a Blossom Prancer here, awkwardly. There it is. They get one attack off this Goshintai now. If I play this land, I can use Network Terminal, tap Leech Gauntlet here. But then I'm drawing and discarding Touch. There's no way I'm discarding Touch the Spirit Realm, so I'm going to hold this land so I can discard it later for the Network Terminal. Bearer of Memory. Opponent is drawing straight gas here. That can put a +1/+1 counter on one of their creatures and give it trample. They can double it up with Weaver of Harmony to make it 2 +1/+1 counters. Feel like I have to touch the Spirit Realm, the Goshintai. I could touch the Spirit Realm, the Weaver, but then the Goshintai is going to still slowly but surely keep getting bigger. The Bearer of Memory can make any of their creatures slowly but surely get bigger. But that's even slower because it's 6 mana to do it. The 7th to double it up. I do not believe I'm going to be able to get an ninjutsu off, but the only creature that can reasonably attack is Blossom Prancer. So it doesn't look that suspicious sending it in. And if I don't ninjutsu, I just go land 5/5. We just take a trade, that's fine. Could be a problem if they play a flyer later. Just go for it. If I get a ninjutsu off, I'm in a really, really great position, and they're at 37, so they might let it happen, and they did let it happen because they're at 37. So now we've got Blossom Prancer back for a huge value play again. Incredible turn for us there. Getting the ninjutsu on the Blossom Prancer. They have the 6 mana for Bearer of Memory now. I'm in love with that. Played both of our Season of Renewals. How are we even winning now? Just drawing into our Naomi. Getting something from this this Blossom Prancer. Very slowly. And that's how we're winning. Goshintai does a thing incredibly slowly. It's actually slower than Bearer of Memory, so it's not going to work out. Do we even have any win conditions left? I don't think we can win this game. We have a Ninja's Kunai, a Cap Attack Wrecker, a Circuit Mender, a Geothermal Kami, a Naomi, and a Dokuchi Shadow Walker. Without being able to bring back the flyer again, I don't think we can actually win at this point. Still gonna play it out, I guess, but I think their Weaver of Harmony, Bearer of Memory engine is just too much. I guess if I hit Ninja's Kunai soon enough, then I can. So let's get a land out of the deck. Keep using Terminal here. Attack with a 5/5, I'm just killing one of these two, or one of these two. Geothermal Kami. This is kind of interesting here, because I could pick up Touch the Spirit Realm and then use it on Weaver of Harmony instead. They can no longer double up their triggers, so they just get a single +1/+1 counter each turn. But they could use Bearer of Memory and go Shintai of Boundless Vigor and do essentially the same thing, but their creatures would all stop getting +1/+1 as well, so I think swapping over the Touch the Spirit Realm to the Weaver of Harmony is advantageous. It's not like a win, but it's better than where it's at right now. So they have to use Bearer of Memory immediately. Probably double up on the Boundless Vigor. Double up on the Naturalist maybe, one on each. Any of that works. They are going to double up on the Naturalist, make it like impossible to get in. It's a 5/5. I do have a 5/5 I can attack with this turn. Could even make it 2 5/5s so I get 2 attacks in this turn. Gotta start breaking through somehow. Damage, okay. If 8 mana, they can use Bearer of Memory once and go Shintai once per turn. Cap Attack Wrecker. I almost feel like I attack with everybody and ninjutsu that in to get rid of the Bearer. They can set up some really good blocks though. So their plan here is going to be to use Bearer of Memory to make Naturalist a 6/6 so that it's going to kill one of my 5/5s that attacks in and kind of ruin my day. I need 2 mana to ninjutsu, 5 mana to recast whatever I bounce, 6 mana if it's Shadow Walker, so that's 8 total. I have 2 3 mana to play around with. That's not enough to move the Leech Gauntlet around. They're only going to have 1 6/6 here. So I think I attack with 5/5 5/5 4/3. 3 toughness, 3 toughness, 2 toughness, 2 toughness. Send all the 3 powers as well. As close as I can get to guaranteeing ninjutsu. And I don't die on the crackback because I'll have 4 blockers. One of these blocks is going to go really bad for me because of Bearer of Memory. At least one of these blocks, I should say. But we've just got to get this Tech Wrecker in here. I don't think we're going to be able to get Blossom Prancer value again. We already did that trick against them once. I doubt they let it in again. Maybe up me. Alright. I'm not going to do anything until they activate Bearer of Memory, because this is actually just fine already. Alright, now we Cap Attack wreck them. Just getting rid of Naturalist might be it. We get rid of their lifelinker, They can still keep putting counters on things, but 1 per turn might be too slow. And we can't get rid of Naturalist. Even if I get rid of Bearer Memory, I can't get through the Naturalist. Geothermal Kami. What does that let me do? That lets me touch the Spirit Realm again? Don't think I actually want to pick that up, though. I don't really want to pick up anything right now. I could just play it just to play it. Have another creature on board. They have 4 blockers. This might be wrong, but I'm just going to play it without bouncing anything. You know, Jukai Preserver doesn't attack monumentally well, and it's a pretty good card to have in hand. Pretty good trick. If I need a trick, and then if I don't need a trick, I just play it post-combat. Alright, land off the top. So they can make Goshintai a 3/3, and Bearer of Memory can get used once. We are fighting tooth and nail. We are fighting really hard here. They can make 1 block really bad with Bearer of Memory, but if I just send in the whole field, they can attack back for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 max. Get in, everybody. We're trying to win this game. We are not going to win this game if we sit here because they have mana sinks and we do not. So the Preserver we can discard from hand to put a +1/+1 counter on 2 different creatures. So basically we both have a combat trick here. They have an onboard one, I have a revealed one in my hand. This is currently very okay with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I can hit them for 16 if I Preserver on the unblocked creatures. 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Am I crazy? 1, 2, 3. So 3 plus 8 is 11. 12, 16. They're just dead. They're just dead on board. They have no tricks in hand, right? They have no hand. They're just dead on board. It'd be embarrassing if I did the wrong math here, but those blocks are just dead on board, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they don't get lifelink on anything. Oh, wow. That sure is dead on board. It is a grindy draft today. That is definitely, as I said before, just part of playing these green decks in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. We are grinding out some long games. Some games I thought were unwinnable because we had our flyer dead. Opponent had a really aggressive start. But Imperial Oath was a huge way to recover there. The Season of Renewals that were really bad in the opener actually just got us the value to stay in that game, start turning the corner later, and we're now 5-0, a very positive win rate today no matter what happens. Well, we're 2 wins away from a 7-win run, so just keep grinding it out here as we head into Game 6. Alright, Game 6, we've drawn our Mega Bomb again. Imperial Oath, Junji the Midnight Sky. Both really, really good cards, but we're not doing anything till turn 5, so this hand could blow up in our faces, but we'll find out. If our opponent does not have an aggressive start, they're going to have a bad day. If they do, they're going to have a nice, easy win here. Spirited Companion to start it off, not that aggressive, but a very good play. Now we have a Touch the Spirit Realm for their first big threat to keep ourselves alive. Okiba Recnorate is scary. 1 mana to drain us for 2 life and get a 2/2 menace. Very efficient little threat. Ooh, the ninjutsu from the Nezumi Prowler, really good stuff from our opponents. Gonna let them recast that Spirited Companion and draw another card. And hit us for 3 this turn. Yep, this is gonna end up very poorly. Our odds of victory are not great. Curved out really well here. I mean, Imperial Oath is such a big way to recover. I think I'm still gonna hold on to their Spirit Realm because we have the Oath. The game's not over. A lot of games not affecting the board till turn 5, it's just going to be straight over, but because we're using Junji into Oath, it's possible we can still be in this. Again, our opponent's on white though, so if they just exile Junji, Oath alone is probably not enough to recover here. Just needed to draw a 2-drop creature. Or some kind of 2-mana play, ideally. Well, this is a lot of the same stuff I was saying last game, and we recovered there, so we'll see what happens. But we're already down to 12. If they have the exile removal for this, it's going to be bad. Or the Intercessor's Arrest, keep it on the board. If they let it die, it's not horrible for us, like if they destroy it. Like, it's still not good for us, but at least then we get to make them discard some cards here. Some good value off of it. Oh, that's disgusting. Each player sacks a creature, but we only have 1 out because we haven't drawn any creatures that cost less than 5. Brutal. Got rid of a Life of Chishiro Mizawa and a 3/2 Life Licker from their hand. That's pretty nice. And now we Oath. Get our own Life of Chishiro Mizawa to kill their 3/1 and gain some life. Probably going to have to touch the Spirit Realm on their flyer. Although we do have the Ninja's Kunai we can use as well. Twisted Embrace. Okay. Kill a Samurai token. Very, very aggro. How did they know that I have Life of Tsushima Ozawa on top? This is the only attack I'm unhappy with. If they sent in the Road Captain as well, I'd be incredibly happy. I would just snap double block there. But the fact that I have a Life of Chishiro Mizawa coming up that can just kill a Prowler, this is so uncool. A 3 life. Go to 3 life, touch the Spirit Realm Gravelighter, equip Kunai, shoot Road Captain with Kunai, or shoot the hand with Kunai. I think I have to just snap trade. Yeah, well that sucks. The hard read on Life of Chishiro Mizawa. Attack with a 2/2 Vigilance here. I can't attack into the first striker. Yeah, I think I have to just gain life. I'm gonna have a 2/3 eventually, and a 2/3 can obviously block the Hand of Enlightenment. Can't block a menace creature. These are not unblocked attackers yet, because we did this during the declare attacker steps, so they can't ninjutsu to get us. Something very important to do in Kamigawa, don't pass through the blocker step. Wow, that's nasty. Repel the Vial, our enchantment removal spell. to get their flyer back. Just cast this in response and they can't attack with the hand, but I'm over that game. We are moving into game 7. Here we are on the play. We've got a 2-drop this time. Doesn't really impact things too much until turn 3. Still a very good card as the game progresses. Playing against a red deck, that could be pretty scary. Some very fun artifact-based aggro decks in the format, specifically red-black is my favorite. They are starting with one of the fun artifact cards, the Tawashi Songshaper. Whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under their control, that is going to get +1/+0 until end of turn to attack for extra damage. We're going to have a turn 4 Naomi here. That should be pretty nasty. No blocks here. We need to keep an enchantment on the board for Naomi. Bronze Plate Boar, 3/2 Trampler that they can reconfigure. Pretty big one. Ooh, a Blossom Prancer coming up too. Just a laundry list of some of the strongest cards in our deck. This game is going really well so far. Mending some circuits over there. They're just going to pass the turn. Drop our friend the Blossom Prancer here. Oh my god, Life of Tishir's Umezawa or Junji. Just every powerhouse in the deck is coming up eventually. Cast Junji and still have 2 mana up, so I can use Go Shintai. They're just going to scoop them up. They're so over it. I'm going to say I think I'm going to attack with the 2 4/4s first. Just let Naomi die off. Killing some stuff, getting some stuff out of the way. But the opponent knows what I've got. Naomi, Blossom Prancer, Junji coming up. They just do not have the cards to compete in hand right now, so they are over it, much like how I was over last game. Again, that was a little preemptive last game. We have enough powerhouse cards in the deck. I probably should have stuck around. Because I do gain 2 life when I cast the Safekeeping as well, so if my opponent's hand was just stone cold nothing last round, I could have still maybe turned it around. It would have been really hard, though. We would have had to draw significantly better than we were at the start of that game. But who knows? We are 6-1 now, heading into what could be the final round. Here we are in Game 8, 6-1. If we win this, we are at a 7-win run, and we are done with the quick draft. I'm going to keep this hand. I don't actually have a turn 2 play unless I draw a Swamp, but I still have a decent curve here. Ninja's Kunai into Mender and Kami. Now we have a great late game play, the Imperial Oath. Playing against blue-black, that can be a very scary archetype with ninjutsu. It's one of the more aggressive strategies as well. Tend to play a lot of the cheap sagas like the Okiba Reckoner Raid in the modern age because they flip into menace and flying creatures to get ninjutsu easily. So our opponent not having a turn 2 play feels very good for us. Could have been a repeat of our first loss of just our opponent curving out aggressively against a slower hand from us. 2/3 menace, not that scary. And I can blow it up with a Ninja's Kunai. So we're not going to touch the Spirit Realm now, we're just going to keep things rolling. We need to use our removal pretty sparingly in this deck, because there's not a lot of it. Alright, no ninjutsu from that. Are going to play a 2/4 Covert Tactician, though. Or Technician. We have not drawn a land all game, which is pretty bad. At one land by now, we'd be on Kami. And obviously Swamp opens up the world. Yeah, we're just suiting up the Mender, blocking there, shooting the Unforgiving one. Play it nice and slow. Can't do much else. This is the Declare Attackers step still, so I get to shoot that and they can't ninjutsu for value. So I will. Again, do not pass the blockers. If you pass the blockers and then try to do that, they can ninjutsu, get the card back to their hand, and you've spent your removal to do nothing. It is a horrible, horrible deal if you do that. We have drawn a land now. It is a forest, unfortunately, but it still lets us cast the majority of our hand now. We have Geothermal Kami and Jukai Preserver available now, as well as the Season Renewal Touch the Spirit Realm that were already available. We have a 3/5 now. We probably just make the Circuit Mender a 3/4. Just be really annoying. Although I guess it's our expendable creature that we really want off the board at some point. So maybe I just put a counter on the Preserver. This is probably that counter spell. They can tap their Covert Technician and spend double blue to counter this, if they want. Oh, it's Essence Capture. That is worse. That is a lot worse for us, because it gets a counter onto the Silver Fur Master, so both their creatures are big enough to attack in. We might have to touch the Spirit Realm, the Silver Fur Master, pretty soon. They have 5 mana up. They can ninjutsu really any ninjutsu card in the game, so if they don't ninjutsu anything here, probably don't have any really powerful ninjutsu. I'm very okay with this. I get to draw a card when they bounce my Circuit Mender. Oh, so they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Oh my god, we've drawn 1 land all game still. Trying to get to 6 mana for Imperial Oath. It actually would have been so helpful if they bounced Circuit Mender, because losing out on these land drops has been rough. Very smart play from our opponent. Kind of have to just exile the Silver Fur Master. It's adding a total of 5 more power to their board, because it is a 3/3, and it's buffing their Specialist and Technician. Yeah. My Circuit Mender blocks a lot better when these things only have 2 power. Discover the Impossible. It doesn't do very much, does it? It draws 1 card. Yeah, it draws 1 card. That's fine. No! The card it has drawn is another Silver Fur Master. Oh, yikes. At least our opponent's out of cards right now. Am I in the chump zone yet? I take 6 and go to 8. If I can resolve this Imperial Oath, super gonna win. If I keep Circuit Mender here, they can't attack with Master or Gauntlet. Well, let's go to 8. Okay, 1 land away from Imperial Oath. We still don't have a swamp yet, though. I've drawn both of the plains in the library. That is not ideal. Probably just have to play a 4/3 and trade it off into their 3/3. If I play the Goshintai Boundless Vigor, it's getting played as a 2/2. I have a 2/3 and a 2/2 on the board. Yeah, no, we gotta just play a 4/3. Just need our opponent to miss a couple draws here, as we have. Can only kill one of these. So might as well kill the 3/5. Over the 3/3. If they top decked into a ninjutsu card though, this will be pretty bad. Because they can ninjutsu the specialist back to their hand to replay it and bounce something. Okay, oh my god, alright. We're in business now. Unless the top deck was a counter spell. Okay, it's not a... Oh, we are so in business. Okay. Those are draws. I need life gain bad. I'm kind of okay with just playing a Circuit Mender before I play Jinji. And then a Kami is a perfectly reasonable draw after those two. I actually just like that order. Alright, we are big time in business here. Gain some life. Now we put our lifelinker on the board. Things are locked up on the ground, and then we're gonna play a big flyer. Oh, I don't have my second black still somehow. Never mind. Should not have I definitely should have kept the Jinji, but I should have put it under the Kami probably. We're not in as good of a position as I thought we were. And dead to the Kami to get rid of our removal that we used on Silver for Masters, pretty good for our opponent. If they draw into a flying ninja, it's gonna be bad news. Can pick up Jukai Preserver and Geothermal Kami with this Season of Renewal. One of the mana to cast either, so I might as well do that at instant speed if I'm going to do it. For now we play the Goshintai. Put a counter on it. Alright, opponent is missing on a few draws here, which is very helpful. Giving us the breathing room we need. Pick up a creature, pick up an enchantment. And we're going to use the Geothermal Kami to pick up this Preserver over and over, and we're just going to make this Goshintai really big. So ideally we can then give it lifelink, make it a massive lifelink trampler, and try to win that way again, as we did in an earlier round. Oh, that's a flyer. Oh, that's a flyer. It is time to equip lifelink if I don't hit a swamp. Did hit a swamp. Might still just be time to equip lifelink onto the Goshintai, but... Be a little bolder here. I think if they had removal, they probably would have used it on this Goshintai. Hopefully I'm correct in that assumption. Let's find out. Suit up, draw a card. Now Leech Gauntlet's a 4/5 till end of turn. Suit Up was a really fun combat trick in this format. You draw a card as you cast it. It's pretty huge. Alright, so Jinji's fine still for now. Fingers crossed. Alright, yeah, there we go. Gain 5 life every turn. That's our game plan here. Rather get a counter on Goshintai than play another 4/3 right now. So if Jinji dies, we can still put lifelink on the Goshintai instead. Jinji has died. Make them discard their whole hand or return like a 2/4 or a 2/3 menace. Yeah, we make them discard their hand. Probably just 2 lands, but still, yeah. A 2/4 or a 2/3 menace don't really affect this board at all. Okay, so I gain a little bit of life just by playing Kami here. So I'm actually free to take a turn off, don't attack with the Goshintai yet, because I'm gaining life just by playing that and doing this loop. And if I attack with it as just a 7/7, they just block with a 4/4 and a 3/3. I mean, 8/8 here. I still only kill a 4/4 and a 3/3, but I kill a silver for a master, which is pretty big. I'm guaranteed to at least kill a silver for master. Yeah, we're definitely putting the gauntlet. Cap attack record, does that kill anything on their board? Just leech gauntlet? Yeah, it's not that exciting. Let's just get the leech gauntlet onto the Goshintai. Get those in. Yeah, everything with 3 or less power just dies to specialist, but only one of them dies there. But then if I attack with everything, they can go block there, block there, block there. Yeah, just attack with these 2 for now. Now they have to decide if they want to lose a specialist and a silver for master to kill the Goshintai. Actually, if they block with specialist and double silver for master, I can kill both silver masters by putting 3 damage on each. And then just put 2 damage on the specialist, and it will still die because both the silver masters would be in grave at that point. If they block like that, I don't believe I can kill all 3. Can I? Yeah, I can, right? Because I can kill master, 3 damage there, 2 damage there, and 3 damage there. This is going to get -1/-1 after the silver for master. Yeah, all 3 of these still die. But they still have 1 silver for master this way. This is A-okay with me. Yep, everything still dies. Kami back Preserver again. Be at 20. And just attack all next turn. Probably kill them, if not in 1 attack, in 2. And they are going to scoop them up. It is going to be a 7-1 run today. We are going to be up into Diamond Tier 4. Very stressful day. Majority of those games felt like kind of a slow start, you know, against some really quick like green-white enchantment starts, some ninja starts, some red-white samurai starts. Just a lot of attempting to slowly but surely grind things out in our favor. Turn the board state in our favor. Always kind of a head and card advantage with all this good stuff over here. Felt like a really nice deck here. But a very long day of gameplay and a very stressful one at that. Definitely glad to have the draft over. But that was a spicy one. 7-1 today with this deck. Really, really good stuff. Imperial Oath, huge deal here. I was going to say huge overperformer, but I've played this set more than enough to know that Imperial Oath is just busted. That was our #1 card at stabilizing us. It helped us more than Junji in some of those games, just surviving the early swings. Junji obviously helped us close out the majority of those games. Junji was what let us really start actually winning the game. But the Oath is what really kept us in it and let us start getting in our favor, start grinding it out in our favor. But yeah, incredible stuff from Blossom Prancer and Naomi as well, being massive 2-for-1 creatures. All kinds of incredible stuff in the deck. Honestly, everything performed pretty well. I don't think there were any underperformers, even Dokuchi Shadow Walkers, which don't look like they do that much. Just having 5/5s in some of those games was pretty important. And people really were not expecting ninjutsu out of our deck. It's very easy to play around and expect ninjutsu when you're playing against blue-black, but when you're playing against some weird 3-color green value pile, it's really easy to forget about ninjutsu, because ninjutsu is primarily in blue and black. So these Shadow Walkers got in some huge value with Blossom Prancer in some of those games, and that was super nice as well. So yeah, everything in the deck was awesome. Super happy with the deck. Even Network Terminal put in a ton of work. Drew and discarded a ton of cards with this thing throughout the game. Grinded out a really nice 7-1 run in the Neon Dynasty Quick Draft today. That is going to end today's videos. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching that video as much as I enjoyed playing it. If you'd like to see more videos like this, you can like, comment, and subscribe to let the YouTube algorithm know to send you some more of these videos in your recommended feeds. And I'll be back again very soon with some more Magic Arena.